Hey, folks. Coach Oz here with something that I think hopefully you'll find some insightfulness, some inspiration, some potential education, knowledge. But really, all I want to do with these, I'll call them struggle to strength talks, if you will, is to try to bring about just literally leaders from all industries. With various situations, and just talk about how really, their story of getting into fitness, managing their fitness, health and fitness, really, obviously, how that has really impacted mentally, physically. And then also I want to kind of get into just, how does it affect your life, but also how has it affected maybe your work in terms of just you feel more confident, you're able to be more productive, maybe energy. So I want to kind of come in on that. And then hopefully what we want to do is also just have a takeaway, meaning like I want to ask my awesome guests in terms of like, what's one or two things that you must have a part of your week, a part of your routine that enables you to keep on top of your fitness mentally and physically, so that at least, like I said, the viewers can kind of take that and be like, oh, okay, that's a cool tip. That's a cool strategy. That's how that person is managing. Because as we said off camera, Pam, is that we all have the same 24 hours. It's about prioritization, but it's also about really attacking, in many cases, the demons up here. And really, that's kind of all I wanted to do. So really, without further ado, I want to introduce really my first guest, because this is the first talk. Her name is Pamela McDonald. And she's got a great story, a really cool, unique story of how fitness literally has completely, changed her path, career, obviously, and also personally. She is a personal trainer now. She's a certified natural therapist, even a yoga instructor. So she certainly does have many hats under the, health and wellness umbrella. But it's cool to find out even how she reached what she's doing today, based on really her story. And so, hey, Pam, just say hi to the gang.
Hello, everybody. Very happy to be here. Thank you, Coach Oz.
Let's just snapshot back. 2011, 2012, you had basically two young kids, just recently had a kid, your mother, and then basically just kind of get into that phase where you were mentally and that shift of that phase of your life.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it was certainly a very difficult time for me. Only recently that I learned that I had postpartum depression and anxiety. So that was a huge blanket on me. And before I had kids, I was in tourism for about 10 years. And then I did a little bit of time with Eastern Health. Okay. So that's where my background was career-wise. Yep. But, I was doing the thing. I wasn't quite happy there. Mm-hmm. But then when I got pregnant with my first child, awesome, I shifted right into motherhood. And then I decided to have another one. And then I was kind of, okay, so now I'm a mom. I love the hands-on, but I still wasn't quite happy. I felt like every day was just a repetition. I had so many mental health issues, but I didn't really know it at the time. Okay. And so with wanting the best for my kids and really focusing on that with their nutrition, their sleeping habits, the types of activities that they did, the quality one-on-one time, it almost ignited a reparenting of myself and questioning myself and what was going on in my mind and my why. And I, for one, was not into any kind of sport growing up, any kind of real physical activity. Yep. And there was something about motherhood that kind of challenged my confidence. And because when you're a mom, kids do all kinds of crazy things that can, put you out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. And that, the motherhood thing really did push me a little bit further out of my comfort zone. Sure. But at the same time, like I mentioned, there was something for me that it was a bit of a repetition every day. So I wanted to be the best mom I could be, because I wanted the best for my kids. And that included the best parent, best mother, because I chose to be the mom. So I needed to amp up my role. Yep. So I really felt that I needed I needed something for me that didn't require a lot of external stuff. So I would get the kids in the double stroller and start pushing them up Signal Hill and really trying to, in a way, I was countering the rumination in my mind and, the anxiety and just the repetition, like I was saying. So I really wanted something for me.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to realize, hey, I've got the determination. I can do this, and it's me doing it. And I started to see changes in my body as well as in my mind.
So, and that's great. It's funny, but it really did start up there, as you were saying, right?
Yep.
And I think, as we chatted a bit off camera, was that whole process of putting everybody first because of your role being a mother. I know you said your husband worked away as well, and everybody kind of had almost a label on you, if you will.
Yeah.
And so, like I tell so many of my clients, is that I don't know if you want to call it a skill, but it is something that you really do have to learn. The thing of letting yourself be able to say, I need to take more time for myself. I need to say no more, or at least saying no to things that don't align with kind of now your new personal purpose is huge. And for many people, it's not something that they ever reach, right? Just because we are humans and obviously mothers, right? That's just your innate ability. But was there something, I know you mentioned the ability to all of a sudden basically be active and kind of change your route, if you will. But was there something that just kind of was it just like the Groundhog Day, day in, day out? You sat and you said, okay, I got to switch it up. Was there something that kind of made you flip at least just that mentality at that time, or was there?
Well, it was also, like I said, with the confidence thing, I was looking at my fears and things that I did not think I belonged to or that I could get into. And being that mama bear, it's a real thing. When mamas are on their game, they will face anything.
Yeah.
And so when I tapped in to what I wanted for my kids, this mama bear started having this, I guess it was like something ignited in me. Okay. And I started resisting those stereotypical norms that traditional, especially in Newfoundland, I find.
Yeah.
Just something in me just kind of started resisting and pushing back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't ready to just settle. Mm-hmm. So that did, knock over the apple cart.
Yeah.
But that was what had to come.
Okay.
So that kind of got me pushing, and I wanted to take it another little bit further.
Okay. So good. So then you started, like you said, you just felt, like you said, there were some changes, in terms of your body wise, no doubt you're probably getting more confident. You're kind of looking at okay, I need to start to, put a pathway of taking you more serious and whatnot. So as that kind of, walking around with your kids and doing those things, what was the next kind of phase, or what, at least maybe next step?
Well, I started working up the confidence enough to sign up for a program.
Okay.
I wanted to take it up a notch so that I wanted that social group of others, like-minded people. And I wanted a supportive environment because I really felt like I was alone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I signed up to a local gym here in St. John's. Yeah. And worked my butt off to try to get childcare covered, drop off my kids so I could make the classes. And it was a commitment to myself.
Absolutely.
But I have a side note that I really want to put in there. I was doing it, but my mind wasn't always there. So this was a side note. I was doing the classes, I was pushing hard, but I still had a lot of guilt and a lot of rumination about the outside environment that I was going home to, or just society outside of that gym of people. Yeah. Okay. So that's part of my journey as well, the psychological part, because you can do all the things, what you need to do, but until, and it took me a while to really accept and not feel guilty and really take ownership of my worth and my time, because I can be more than one thing. You can be mom, you can be career person, So that was something that I really had to step into and learn. And that was a huge part, every year up until today, from that starting point.
Wow. Okay. So which is awesome. Wow. Wicked. So got into the gym environment. Obviously, like you said, your athletic past wasn't, so much athletic.
It was not.
and when you think about gyms and programs, right, just the standard type of movements or exercises. Obviously, you know, it was heavyweights. Like, I don't mind sharing, like, come on, right? Like, we're promoting, you know, anything. So it was
Oh,
heavyweights.
100%.
And the reality is you got in there, not only, like you said, the group support of the people that you got to know, like-minded stuff, but you were obviously doing things, uncomfortable, doing things that your body, at least you even
Yes.
thought going into it, like probably when they said today is this, you're like, hey, well, wait a minute. Like, I don't know, like, I guess I'll do it. But obviously your determination, and that drive, you killed it. So just talk about that the ability to, you know, ramp up before you made that next big phase of processes of the shows. But just talk about that gym and what that did to you mentally and whatnot.
Oh my gosh. It was like, it was I feel a part of growing up for me to kind of take myself out and put myself in that environment. It was a big step for my confidence. And another part, I felt like I had to earn my time.
Yeah.
So when I was away from home, I gave it 200% at that gym.
Mm-hmm.
I was so appreciative of that time away.
Awesome.
Because I knew my kids were home, and, you know, my obligation to that. So when I got my time, oh man, I was so appreciative. And when I got there, that it was game on.
Yeah. Killer instinct came out.
That's awesome. It was like, you know what?
Really
I'm not
cool.
here to look pretty. I'm not here to take selfies or that kind of stuff. I like get down. I didn't care if I had makeup on, hair in a mess. It wasn't about that.
You were here to work. Yeah.
I'm here to work, and I appreciate my time. And, you know, I want a coach that also appreciates me. So it was like, let's do it.
Yeah. Awesome. And so that coach, I mean, that's why, like, you know, obviously, yes, I'm a coach, you're a coach, you know, we're like, and we value, I mean, I have coaches over me, you got a business coach. I will seek a coach to help with some programming every now and then when I get in my own personal funk. Like, it really just, that's who they are. But you've got to also match, right? They got to, you know, show you the path, but they also got to really freaking push you and get outside the comfort zone, because that's where the magic is. So you started to, obviously, like I said, really get kind of into that mode. And then what did basically your coach kind of mention to you one day?
So yeah, we were given homework as well besides the classes, and I was killing every single challenge. I was the first one to post when I did the at-home challenge, and like, I'm beating my time, and they knew how dedicated and how I was, you know, balancing it out, my home life, my, you know, the whole thing, and they knew that I was there. I was serious to work.
Yeah.
So one of the coaches came to me and said, you know, have you ever thought about, you know, going into bodybuilding or competitions and that kind of thing? And I thought, oh my God.
What was your initial? Yeah.
No, I never really thought about it, but that left something in my mind. But why not me? And that was the same kind of thing when I started to go to the gym. But why not me? So
love it.
I was starting to recognize my fears and my instinct to kind of pull back. Yeah. And I started to embrace, because one of the things on the wall at the gym was, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Yeah. And so I kept that in my head. And so I started to kind of like, okay, hang on, if this is scaring the shit out of me, it's intimidating me. So I let it sit. And that feisty mama bear, like, why not me, challenge the social norms, challenge, you know, everybody's expectation. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. Yep. So I interviewed coaches, because I wanted to make sure that I got the best training and all that. And so so I did it.
You went, awesome. So and then pretty much, not one, not two, not three, like, and I know you said you covered like bikini and you covered figure. What was the other one?
Fitness model. And
fitness model. So you've done now a total of 5 in 4 years, right? And even qualified for the nationals.
Went on that.
And you won obviously all your hardware, clearly, obviously to qualify for that phase. So just like thinking back now on them, and even during that phase, like what did that do? No question for anybody that you know, even have a hard time looking at themselves in the damn mirror, right? Regardless of where they are really with their life. But what could you take, one or two things, you know, in terms of, you know, doing that process, seeing yourself and your family support? Like, just talk about kind of what the shows did and obviously who you had pushing you.
Well, it allowed me to see myself in a different lens. coming from a different perspective. And with that empowerment that I gave myself, with that that new doorway that I opened for myself,
Yeah.
I was just exposed, and I allowed myself to try on different hats, to tap into other parts of my soul, other things I wanted to experiment in. And so when I did that, and I allowed myself to be seen for that, because I was kind of like, oh, maybe I should be more minimal with this, and I don't want to draw a lot of attention, but I started to overcome that and let people see and post in my journey. And I actually documented in a blog my full 12 weeks out. Yeah. And I started, being very transparent about it all. And it was during that time that a lot of other people, moms especially, would come up to me and say, what are you doing? Like, let me in on this. And that's what ignited me to, in my journey of learning how to lift the weights and do things properly.
Yeah.
I became a personal trainer.
Yeah. So,
and that's where I said, you know what, I'm going to just start teaching a few classes and see how this goes. And I developed a little business on the side while I was home and, raising my kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's, 2013 was a big year. Yeah. 2013, 2014 is, big turning points for me. And that was where I just want to say that the yang energy, I don't know if some of your listeners might be familiar with that. Yin and yang are opposites. That's when my yang energy, my intensity, my pushing, that was the highest.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. And there is that energy. There's that flow, right? Your flow of energy, is really where your flow of purpose can come about. I love that. I absolutely do. So what I like to do, I would be asking, clearly, right, your career has been evolved from, like I said, your personal successes, contributions to yourself, and sharing your story in terms of, hey, this is something that you've got so much out of, especially say coming where you were to that. It was like, maybe you can, it's of interest, but obviously potentially you want to serve people. And so now doing, obviously a couple of various hats under the health and wellness. Like, did you say, like, honestly, prior to say, even, let's just kind of quickly answer that, like prior to the gym, the shows, did you have a vision for yourself career-wise? Like, did you kind of look ahead at all, or it was kind of like you were always just in the present?
I was in the present. I needed to get by one day at a time. Okay. That's where I was mentally, physically, in every way. Yeah. And as I was saying about that real yang energy hit its tipping point. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's where I crashed. And that's when I started realizing I needed to integrate the softer side of things. Absolutely. And that's when my own personal, emotional crash led me into the softer side. So I needed some supports to help to find that balance. Okay. And then I got into yoga and meditation. Yeah. So that's the other evolution of this journey of like the
yeah, exactly.
Self-discipline, make the most of your time. Yeah. I hit that tipping point, and then I needed the other side, and that's where I am now. So with the exercise and the self-discipline and all that type stuff, and challenging yourself, I also needed to learn how to discern between challenge and compassion for the self. Mm-hmm. And that was a part of me that needed to be found. Okay. Yeah. And I found it when I found it when I hit the edge. So here I am. I know both sides.
Yeah, you do. Right.
Yoga, meditation, the softer side, and I implement both. And I think that's a really important message for anybody watching. One is not more important than the other. You need both.
You do. And that's why, like, yes, it's about challenge, but you can't be just, like you said, just in that constant aggressive approach, aggressive strategy to whatever you're trying to attack, because you need yourself to let the mind recharge, recover. You need to feel that, just like anything, you can't have just energy 100% on, and both mentally, it's so easy to just, you can, it's great to attack things hardcore. And I know society is like, you know what, like you just.
Well, with our work environments, with our obligations, like this is not even just in the gym. This is outside.
Yeah, and this is why, like, that's kind of really flows into my next question.
Yeah.
With these two left is, like, how right now, like how is managing your fitness right now just impacting kind of like your day-to-day operations? Like, why are you like still? Why does fitness need to be such a big part of your current life? Even though I know, obviously, when you teach class, you're teaching yoga, you're doing movement. But let's just think about running a business right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is how does one affect the other, I guess, if you will?
Well, it's one and the same to me. During COVID, well, actually, when I had that crash and I totally stopped the gym.
Mm.
I want to say that I stopped because it was a bit of a divergence for me.
Okay.
To kind of go and just like,
Mm.
but I needed to stop from doing all the things that I was doing so I could look at it. And when I completely stopped, I needed to look at the gym and fitness not as an escape, not as a place to go and just let all my frustrations out. I wanted it to be a healthy, safe place, and I needed to balance that. So, I started doing some more fitness again, and I've been pretty transparent on my blog and my about my journey. Always moving, of course, but maybe in a softer way. And then COVID hits, and I'm one of those people that I did go down, and I started to get frustrated with myself. But then I realized, you know what, I want to get back. I want to take control of my life again. And it's not going to happen if I don't adult myself, because that's what it is, personally, I find. Because we would do this for anybody else.
Yeah.
To look in the mirror and say, I am my own worst obstacle here. What is stopping me?
Yep.
So I needed to give myself a bit of a hard talk and a reality check. Because I know what happens to my mental health and how I approach other things if I let the basics of self-regulation and the basics of health go to the wayside. Mm-hmm. So I had a good self-talk, and I thought, you know what, I am a trainer, but I'm also a human, so I also can take support. So I did. So I joined a support group to help motivate me to get back on my game. Because as well as doing it for me, sometimes we can get that ego thing going. Well, I'm a trainer, I should be able to do this, and I can do all the things. So I wanted to watch that playing out in my head, put that to the side and say, no, I'm going to do this for me. So I feel like when I can get up in the morning, adult myself, start off my day strong, the rest of the day follows suit. And I feel I can handle anything when I do that. And the days that I don't get up early and do my workout, but I still do it later on, that's still good too.
Okay, cool. Okay, I was wondering where you were going to go with that, because sometimes, but that's the true essence of balance, right? Like that's what I try to tell anybody. I don't care who I'm talking with. Like the reality is it's what, like our mindset of supposedly being always on when you're maybe in your 20s, pre-kid for some people, like it's just your career, everything has changed. And so our ideologies of supposedly eating a certain way or having to exercise 6-7 days a week, or what our high standards are, need to be completely reevaluated, because imperfect action, as I tell people, is action. So if you look for balance and you still were able to leave a day, lie your head on your pillow to say, I know I kind of woke up that morning thinking of like my day was supposed to go there, but at the end, what solace do I have? Well, you know what? I still made, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, you made time for yourself. You were cognizant of where you were, and you can still, like, what can you take? What's one thing that you either did or you can take from? So that's like, okay, great, good, better, best. I'm always about that. Some days are good, some days are your absolute best, but strive for some level of progress versus just bad days, good, bad food, good food, because that's a completely arse way of thinking. And a lot of it is just internally what we've been telling ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. The inner dialogue is everything. I like to remind my clients, it's not about how many times you fall off, it's about how many times you come back.
Clearly,
that's the name that you bring back with you.
it's rocky. It's just, you know, and that is so damn cliche, but it's just literally the story of, it's always when you are in your later years, sipping some coffee on your rocking chair on your front porch, and you look back and be like, you know what, like, what did I give? And how can you feel about yourself? But it's like, yeah, like those drop downs, those pegs that you kind of had to come off of, failures, whether they were within your control, outside our control, COVID. It's just, again, like, let's use this, right, as a means of just empowering ourselves, and then ideally, hopefully empowering others and communities and society. But we have to have support, and we also just have to kind of accept that everybody has all these different situations, and we are our worst critics, without question. So last question, which I love, and love, I absolutely love your story. Really, really appreciative of you sharing it. Is just, is there one thing? So right now, as you said, you know, it sounds like that morning is really your rock, if you will, but like, yeah, what is it? Like, what's one thing, one strategy, something that you just know that you need yourself to kind of have as your foundation, or something that really just gives you advantage in terms of how the day can kind of progress, that others listening might be able to learn from, or be insightful from?
Mm-hmm. Well, I find that giving myself a gift of time that doesn't include maximizing it, such as with exercise or doing something.
Yep.
I can find that's extra, but I feel that I need time to myself. I have to have that time to myself, and I communicate that with my family, but I need time to not do. And in that time of not doing, that's when things start to flow in my soul and in my body, of where my real desires come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when my nervous system settles.
Yep.
And that's when I can look at, okay, what are my obstacles?
Yeah.
From a grounded perspective.
Yep.
And that's when I can see, okay, how do I need, what am I looking at this week?
Yes.
What do I really want? What do I need to do? So I feel that giving myself that time, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever, of not doing. So that to some people that could be meditation, that could be just going for a walk, a very slow, not with an intention of working up a sweat.
No. Yep.
Just letting yourself off the hook from tangible doing.
Absolutely.
And allowing your body to like speak, all systems speak, and allow yourself to feel. And I feel that from that perspective, we can look at things more without intensity of emotions, just like drawing us into blame or feeling bad or any of that kind of stuff. We can look and say, okay, self-check-in.
Yes.
What are my obstacles for right now?
Yep.
And usually it's ourself. Look in the mirror.
Yeah. Something you probably didn't know, guys, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, and then to communicate your needs and your plans with a very grounded delivery to the people around you, so you can put it into action.
Absolutely. And I love that. And I think what we said off camera was, you know, many cases that are going to watch this, like if you're run your own show, you work for somebody, I mean, just the very fact, kids, you know, older kids, doesn't matter. Everybody has so much on their plate. And I'm like, when you look at how you approach your specific work operations, and more so, especially if you're probably an executive, like where you have specific operations that you really need to employ, maybe you have teams underneath you, or you just are a solopreneur like myself and basically like Pam, where you really have to have things strategized, and then to step back, you know, whether it's monthly, quarterly, and say, okay, like what I've been doing is leading to this. But like when it comes to like our own health and fitness, right? It's like either there's only one path, what people think, right? It's like the only path is the path that they may have done back in their early days, which now just clearly their life and circumstances and body is not capable potentially, or not the best approach to it. So, you know, understanding that there is various means, but also doing regular personal check-ins and what that can 100%. Do. It's huge. And then like that support, yes, family, and yes, peers, but at least articulating, you know, again, your path, so that maybe you either have your BFF, your spouse, as your accountability partner, but damn it, you should certainly look to have an accountability partner, whatever that looks like for you, because they really need to kind of like see that purpose, and really kind of gear and push you. And sometimes, like I said, the spouse, it's like, God love them, they're amazing, they are always going to be your biggest support, but like to give you potentially maybe certain things that you definitely need to maintain on the path, then that's where sometimes, like I said, seeking a Facebook group, seeking whatever it looks like for you.
Yeah, because our close friends and family, they may not, likely are not on our journey, not on the same
That's what I say. Yeah.
path, not the same passion.
Yep.
And so we can't be resentful to them
No,
because they don't get it. We got to go and take ownership and find that, and bring that energy into everything else that you do.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, Pam, I mean, that was, time flies, we all know. But I really appreciate your story, sharing it. I know some things can be uncomfortable, vulnerable, but as you've said, you've been sharing a lot of your, stories on your blog as well. But curious anyways, because obviously, yes, you are a coach, like, how can people, reach you if their story really resonates with them, seeing that that's what you do? Like how can people reach out to you?
They can reach me. I'm on social media. I'm on all those platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff.
Okay.
I also have a website, meridianhealthwellness.ca.
Okay.
I teach group classes at the Yoga Kula over on Torbay Road.
Okay.
And then my private clinic is on Duffy Place within Healthy Balance.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, really appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and looking forward to kind of obviously doing these on a fairly regular basis. Again, thanks, Pam.
Thank you so much. I loved it.